Hey everybody, it's my first stream, at least first stream doing the building. Just happy to have everybody hang out. What we're going to be working on today is the Trade Federation's Armored Assault Tank from Star Wars Legion. It's a unit expansion. So we'll go ahead and get this open and see what we got for parts inside. So first of all, I got the massive base. We'll be putting it on after. All the unit cards, tokens, all those things. Yeah, hey, how's it going? I figured you might like a Star Wars stream. So here's the assembly instructions here. From what I've seen of other people, it's pretty basic. Some little knick-knack parts you put on, but pretty much it's all three major parts that go together to make up the tank. Alright, so here's the base of our tank. Some of the next level up on that. That's kind of second tier. And then here you have your turret on top, as well as some of those knick-knacky pieces I was talking about earlier. Looks like, as usual, some of the pieces have already come off the sprue, hopefully intact and not broken. We'll see. Looks like, yeah, it doesn't look like anything broke in transit, so that's good. It's always a pain when you have to rebuild individual parts because they've come apart there. Anybody who can paint these things is a wizard to me. Trouble painting a wall, never mind this kind of stuff. I used to be exactly like that. I could never focus enough. But right after my first daughter was born, I started painting miniatures just as a way to force myself to focus on something. And it really, I found it very therapeutic, honestly. So let's see. I'm gonna start out, I think, yeah, just the two base parts, which they've done for me. So normally there'd be two parts here. It would go together, but from the manufacturer, it seems they have come together. So hopefully there's nothing that needs to go in between those two, because I'm not tearing those apart. So next looks like we're going to be building the rear hull of the tank. So we'll be getting those off the sprues here. AAT. One thing I am going to have to get used to is doing my work in this limited space I have. Normally I'm all over the place, but I'm going to try to get better about doing everything underneath this camera here, so we'll see. Hopefully you guys don't have to yell at me too much to get back under the camera, but looks like AO5 and AO3. These parts. See here. That go. Yeah. Get this oriented correctly here. There we go. So that goes right in there. Alright, now I figured out which way this thing's oriented. The Warhammer stuff, I find, honestly, at least with what I've done so far, goes together a little more logically than some of the Star Wars stuff. I think it's got just the futuristic edges or whatever. Make it slightly more difficult. Best part about everything I'm doing right now is the vast majority of it is going to be underneath the tank, and probably nobody will ever see except for me. But I will know that if it was done correctly or not. So. This back part doesn't really want to stay together too much. You can see up the top here, that's where the final turret's going to go. That'll sit right in there. minus these 4 posts here. I'm going to go into those 4 posts on there. Not sure if I'm going to glue everything together today. I might just dry fit a lot of it so that when I go to paint it, I'm not having to work around as much intricate parts, but we'll see. I'm also trying a new glue. I'm trying this plastic glue people have recommended to me. Not sure if I can get that focus. The Army Painter plastic glue. I usually use super glue, which just gets all over my hands and makes me sticky by the end of the time I'm doing it. But it does seem to set considerably faster than this stuff, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna. I have the super glue if I decide to swap back over if this stuff's not working for me, but supposedly this is the recommended glue. We shall see if I agree with them or not. This is one of the parts that came off before I opened the package. Luckily it's a fairly recognizable part. Figure out where it goes. It doesn't look too much like all the other parts. If you get parts that fall off that look almost exactly the same as other parts, that's really when it gets to be a problem. Yeah, so it's supposed to be true to scale, so the I don't have any out right now, but the B1 battle droids are, you know, your regular 1 inch by 1 inch miniature. Got this thing here, I guess, kind of for scale. Battery's running low. Hold your horses. You're supposed to be plugged in. Hold on, everybody, be right back. Sorry about that. The problem is my laptop guys tell me that batteries are running low at like 3%. And no matter how many times I change it, it keeps going back. So if I don't immediately do something about it, it will absolutely just turn off. Yeah, so anyway, they got the 1 by 1 inch units, and it's supposed to be, you know, fairly true to scale. I don't think it's exactly to scale, but the bigger the unit gets, the more they kind of fluff it a little bit to make them a little smaller. But for mostly with the Star Wars stuff, I've seen it's pretty true scale. Warhammer, no, nothing's to scale with Warhammer, because those units are, you know, with the creepage and everything of the power creepage, they've just gotten massive. There's no way that you could have, you know, a Titan on the tabletop to scale with an Ultramarine and have it make any sense at all. It'd be like 4 foot tall. Let's see, how's that gonna fit on there? All right, so it does sit down in there, perfect. And so what I'm thinking I'm gonna do for these streams, if it ends up working out, is I'm gonna basically one time I'll build a bunch of units, and then I'll prime them kind of off screen, because that's just spray painting them. There's not really much to watch there, and it takes, you know, a couple hours, up to 24 hours, depending on how you know, nice it is outside, for the primer to set before I can start painting. So I doubt anybody wants to see me just spray paint a bunch of plastic white. The building and the final painting are really what's the interesting part to see. So I figure I'll prime them kind of off screen on my time, and then just do the builds and the painting for any units on camera. Unless somebody really wants to watch me prime plastic. Alright, so we got 18 and AO9. So for anybody who hasn't worked with minions before, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get this to focus in or not. We shall see. Probably not with that light. But you can't really see it very well, but right here, you'll actually have a little tab that has your number on it. So this is AO9 there. Then I got to find A18 is on here somewhere. or actually A10. It's just written in Star Wars numbers, so it looks like an 18. So that'll correspond with your directions here, telling you what part number goes where. So that's what I'm talking about. So you get some of these that look almost exactly the same. If they fall off the sprue and they're not with their associated number, you have to then try to like figure out exactly what they are based on just what little markings are on them and stuff. It's a real pain. So when the non-unique pieces fall off, it's actually a really big problem. But luckily, most of the stuff that fell off this time was stuff that there's only a single piece of it, so it's got to be that one. Let's see, I'm going to fill these. So you got anything... I'm not sure if I should use your username or your real name. I'm not sure what you prefer, but I'll stick with username for now until you tell me otherwise. You got anything coming up for cool builds, Sapiens? Oh, nice. Boba Fett's Palace. I'm probably going to have to tune in for that one, because that sounds sweet. Hopefully the kids will go down and I won't have too much trouble. I can hop on and watch that. I love Star Wars Lego. I got a ton. It's all at my parents' house, but from back in the day, that was my thing of choice too. Was the Star Wars Lego sets. A22 and A21. And so if you guys can see here, and later if you're watching this on YouTube, either name is fine, perfect. Again, I can't. This it's a document camera. It's not exactly built for this, but it'll work. You can see there you got A12 and A23, A24, and then over here you got A22 and A21. So even though those two guns are basically the exact same gun, because one's a left gun and one's a right gun, they come with different parts. So you actually have to pay attention to which one you're building where. Otherwise, you will end up gluing the left gun onto the right side or something crazy like that, which isn't necessarily the worst thing, depending on what it is. But you could end up messing something up if you glue something that's supposed to be on a certain side. So that's 22. And I need 21. The other thing is, I think sometimes they make these things unnecessarily complicated, just in order to get more parts that you have to do. Like this gun could have absolutely just come probably built together like this. I get it might not have come out exactly as clean, but these two pieces just seem kind of ridiculous. But you'll always have those people that are, want every single molecule of the build to be exactly perfect, and if there's one little bubble of plastic, they will lose their minds about it. So I get where both sides are coming from on that, as far as the manufacturer wants to try and make everybody happy. Warhammer's, in my opinion, way worse for that. They have a single unit that has a ton of pieces just for a 1 inch by 1 inch unit. So let's see. This is going to end up on one of these. I did not keep track of which one was which. This is exactly what I'm talking about, where it could matter which way these go on. Like that is backwards. So this gun goes on the other one. Because the front of the tank is going to be there. That is going to go once it's good there, I think. Yeah, so that sits there. If I had glued this gun onto the other side before I had checked all the prices by dry fitting them here, we wouldn't have been able to get it all together. I would have had to pull stuff apart. Yeah, it's just like Lego. I know you're big into Lego. I can understand when Lego does stuff like that because they have like set parts. Like they have set things, but even them sometimes it's like, why is this not just a thing that exists? Why do I have to add 4 different pieces together when it seems like you could have just made a piece that works for this? But I am by no means a Lego purist, so perhaps I am in the wrong on that one. Yeah, you know what? This Army plastic glue is not doing it for me. So I'm going to switch over to the super glue because I am an incredibly impatient person. And I just want stuff to